Hey guys, before I start this video off, I just want to say that the next round of the championship will be at Monaco and live on Twitch. And the Twitch link will be in the description below for you guys to go over and follow. And also follow me on my Twitter where I will inform everyone of when I stream. But until then, have a good episode guys and enjoy. How's it going guys? It is Ryan and welcome to another episode of the 1997 F1 Career Mode. We are here at the famous Imola circuit for the third round of the championship, as unfortunately, since Argentina is not in the game, unfortunately, we have to skip it. But we've got a fantastic track at Imola, one of the most famous tracks on the calendar, and we're here at the back of the grid. We're starting last as it's our new challenge for this episode, and I may continue this throughout the series as it makes it more realistic with the Minardis at the back of the field. Just want to quickly mention as well, guys, thank you so much for the response in the series. It's been amazing. The first episode's hit 10,000 views already, and over a certain amount of likes as well. Over 100 likes is just ridiculous for this series. As I said, the next round at Monaco will be live on Twitch, so make sure to follow the Twitch link in the description below. But we're about to start off now, leaving the garage for the first time experience of Imola. I've not actually driven this track apart from R Factor and other simulators, so this is going to be a unknown territory for me, so we'll see how it goes. So Jacques Villeneuve there in the Williams is on pole with, I believe it's Michael Schumacher in second with Frentzen in third. Our teammates ahead of us in 21st is always typical of him to be at the back of the grid. So this will be interesting, and overcast weather, so there could be rain in the air, so we'll spice things up a bit, but the revs are building. The third round of our career mode, as the lights are out, and away we go. We go to lean to try and save some wheel spin, to save some of the tyre wear for the rears later on the race. And we get a decent start off the line as we go past Katayama up to 21st place as we go into turn 1 on there. So I thought the AA would break a bit early, which they have done actually. But as you can see, 3 wide and there's nowhere really to overtake, so we have to stay around 21st place, and we go down the middle of, I believe it's the 2 stewards, and make contact with Rubens Barrichello, and I believe that is Jos Verstappen, I think it is, on there. And again, same next corner, everyone's just checking up, nowhere to go. You just got to find the space really and get a move done. We're up to 18th place there, as there's a, I think that was a Sauber there holding us up. We're going to try and go around the outside of a few cars here, and that's Magnussen as well, as we go past him and Mika Salo. Now we're side by side with actually Mika Salo at the minute, with Olivier Panis ahead of us in the Prost, I believe, as we just get a bit of oversteer there and just nowhere to go really on this opening lap. It's like a parking train going on here with like just all line astern there as we go into this very tricky double right-hander, and we get alright I guess through that corner, I say. But we're on to now to the tricky chicane, one of the most famous corners really of this track, a signature corner on there. So just get a bit too wide there as Panis pulls away slightly, but Mika Salo's slowly pulling up, is going backwards, so that's a good sign here. But the AI brake a lot early for this corner than expected, so I had to take that into consideration, because we've made the mod that we put in from the last episode from Brazil doesn't really work around here at some parts of the track, but other parts it is actually alright. So that corner in particular where the all slow brake early is the only issue with the mod around Imola, so we need to take into consideration here. But we're on to the second lap, and as you can see we've got a beautiful run on Panis. We're going to try and go around the outside of him before turn 1, which we do so, and we're up to P13, the unlucky number 13. So hopefully we won't have any crashes or any reliability issues with the Minardi especially. So may have given the commentator's curse there to us as Panis there looks to try and get back on us, but we've got the better line there, and we managed to succeed in holding off 13th place from Panis there. But we're going to go on to lap number 3 here, and as you can see, Mika Häkkinen ahead of us in the Mclaren is being held up by, I believe it's Johnny Herbert in the Sauber on there, as it is Johnny Herbert, so this is going to help us nicely. We've got a few cars up front there ahead of Johnny, battling for position, which I believe is for 8th or 7th place. I think it's 8th actually on there. So we're just going to try and find some room here. Just brake a bit early. Just be very wary of the weather as well, as it is apparently going to rain at some stage. So we need to think about that as we go further into this San Marino Grand Prix on there, as we start lap number 4. So we're right behind Häkkinen at this point. 0.2 of a second. We're putting away from Olivier Panis, as I said. 3.5 seconds is the gap now. Nothing too serious to really worry about behind, so we can really push as much as possible now and not worry about the car behind. But as ahead of Johnny Herbert and Mick Häkkinen, there is a train of 3 cars, so we could maybe have a sniff of battling with them at some stages of this race. as we get a beautiful exit through the hairpin there, and we're right on the back of the McLaren now of Hakkinen, and he is really struggling behind Johnny Herbert, so this is quite a surprise to see. And then we take a bit too much curb there, which slows us down completely, which is not what we wanted, as it gets a bad exit there. As we go into the door right-hander now, we go very wide there, losing the back end there, and just about saving it there onto the curbs there, so it was a bit of a scary moment from us there. But we're going to go on to the next lap now, as it's still the same as it was before, as we go very wide there, just locking up a slight touch there, which pushes a bit wide there, and the gap there, as you can see, is pulled out once again to Hakkinen, and still he's behind Johnny Herbert, so it's not helping him, it's not helping us really, because we feel we can be quicker than Hakkinen and Johnny Herbert, which is something I would never say, considering this is a Minardi on there. But as you can see, the tyres are very, on the rears especially, really bad, so I was contemplating whether to pit this time. With the rain around as well, we could maybe jump a few people in the pit stop phases and see if we can push as hard as possible and try and get into the top 10, which would be fantastic to see from us there. So we're going to be thinking about, we're going to be going to the pits this time here. Hakkinen's still on the racing now, we have to make drastic actions at the back of him there. Luckily not to avoid a penalty on there, just wasn't expecting Hakkinen to be braking that early for the last corner. We'll be going into the pits now onto a set of the prime tyres, our one and only stop of the race. As we get in there, the Minardi guys getting some brilliant work on there, and we are away. It's a 3.7 stop, and where's this going to put us? It will put us, I believe, at the back of the field in last place, as we're the first ones of the whole field to pit for the first time. So we'll see how it goes, as we've got Nakano, or something like that. I can't pronounce Japanese names, so I apologise. And we're going to put in the intermediates on just in case it rains later on in the race. It depends when it comes is the question. So we'll have to see when that does eventually come. As we can see a nice train now. I think it's led by Rubens Barrichello. So if we can hopefully get past these as quickly as possible, we can try and gain some ground. And not lose too much to Hakkinen and Johnny Herbert and try and get past them there. So we go a bit wide through that corner, just losing a bit from the dirty air of Nakano's Prost, I believe it is. On there, so we're going to see we've got Larini in front as well, and also our teammate. So we're going to have to see how this pans out very shortly, as we're going to be coming now towards the tricky chicane. And we get right on the back now of Nakano now, and try and go up to standard there, and just try and save some fuel. The reason I went to lean was due to the fact of saving the rear tyres. As you saw on the first stint, our tyres were really bad on the rears, and we've made the pit stops now. We're on lap 7. As you can see, Johnny Herbert is ahead of us, and Mick Hakkinen's ahead of Herbert. So Herbert and Hakkinen must have had a pit stop battle, and the McLaren mechanics have beaten him to it on there, which is not what we wanted, as Herbert goes very slowly through the corner, and we had to make drastic action. Herbert loses the back end from the contact, but we will let him have the position, as it is deemed our fault for going in too hard and aggressive, and it would be fair to let Herbert have the position back. So nothing really lost from that, but Nakano's still behind us, who hasn't pitted yet. And we get a beautiful exit through the chicane, and Herbert's already on the defensive there, holding that inside line for this little bit of a straight now, as Irvine sets the fastest lap of 32.4, as we're going to go round the outside of Johnny Herbert and up to 14th place we go, as we've got two cars, I think, holding up Mika Hakkinen. So I think they will be pitting anytime shortly, as there is a car off on the map, as you can see on the map there. I forgot to mention that. I believe it is a Jordan. I forgot to say that. I only just spotted it right now. So we're down to 21 cars in this race, as we're going on to lap 9 now. As you can see, we're on the back of Hakkinen, who's been held up by, I believe it's a Tyrrell. I'm not 100% sure if it is a Tyrrell, but very interesting to see Hakkinen being held up here by Pedro Diniz, of all people. We nearly hit the back of Hakkinen, so we had to make drastic action to get out of the way and not hit the back of the McLaren at this point. So we're going to go on to lap 10 now, and these people still out will most likely be on the prime tyres. So the prime tyres can last around 10-11 laps, so this is giving me some good indication that Diniz is on the prime tyres, which I do believe he is, and we'll be making his pit stop very shortly, as we're on the back of Hakkinen now, right on him, who tries to go defensive there. We make a bit of contact with Hakkinen, but we had to give him the room again, and keep position, stay in position, or it would be an illegal overtake and we would get penalised. So with that, we can see now we're right on the back of Hackler now as we've got through the chicane. A few corners later, we're going to go round to the inside of Hackler now as we go into the last couple of corners, and we get the move on the inside completed, and we move up into 11th place now with Pedro Diniz still ahead of us, who I most likely say will be pitting this time. As you can see, it is raining now here, which is what we did not want to see, as Diniz is making his pit stop. Surprisingly, if he goes onto the inters this early, I would be surprised to see how he does in the later stages of this race. But we're going to go on to the next lap, and as you can see, the rain is intensifying even more, and we are losing the back end slightly now, as we've got Mika Häkkinen there still with us as we go into the last sector of this lap. As you can see, we've got a Benetton there ahead of it. I believe it is Berger, just Gerhard Berger, sorry, in 9th place there. So we're losing a lot of grip now on the rears now, so it's all about managing the tyres now until the window opens for the intermediate tyres. So we're being very cautious now on this lap. As you can see, it's a 1:35.9. Starting to lose a bit of pace now. We're only 4.5 seconds off Gerhard Berger, with Jacques Villeneuve still leading the race here. And we break really late into the corner. There's not a lot of grip there. We have to take the gravel trap, and we lose a position to Häkkinen, unfortunately, which obviously with a wet track and also gravel on our tyres, the grip isn't going to be nice there. So onto that 14 we go, and as you can see, we are really struggling now for grip on the prime tyres. So it is deemed the time now to pit for the intermediates. There's Johnny Herbert actually goes around the outside of us into the last corner, and once again breaks early for the second consecutive time we go into the pit box. We hit the back of another car for braking too early on there as the tyres are going off, and I will be surprised if anyone stays out for the last 2 laps of this race. So we're going to be the only ones at the minute onto the intermediates on there, and we are going to drop in around about 14th place with Mika Salo and Pedro Diniz jumping us in the pit stop phases. So it will be interesting to see if Diniz is on the soft compound tyre on there. So I will be intrigued if he is on there. We'll have to wait and see what happens here. As you can see, with the likes of Pedro Diniz and also Mika Salo, they are on the dry tyres, and as you can see already after 1 corner, we have already gained a lot of time on both these 2 drivers. So it is the perfect time for the wet tyres, and I don't think the AI will pit this lap. So this is going to be quite interesting, these last few laps, as another driver I've just spotted is out of the race, and we just go into the back of Diniz there slightly, who is struggling on these dry tyres, and they are all struggling now, as we're already on the back of Mika Salo here, who has really poor traction out of this last corner with the dry tyres. It's just impossible for them. So we have called this absolutely spot on there, and I believe, funny enough, the other car is the Jordan who retired. So both Jordans are out of the race, which is not what we want to see if there's any fans of Eddie Jordan or anything like that on there. And as you can see, the 2 dots there, the next up are both Johnny Herbert and Mika Häkkinen. So this is going to be a very intriguing last lap of this San Marino Grand Prix, our 3rd round of the championship on there, and this is going to be quite exciting. They are struggling, they both do not pit, so very interesting call from the AI, I must say, on there, and the cars behind decide against it as well. So this will be a very interesting last lap. We've got 4.5 seconds to gain on this last lap of the San Marino Grand Prix. As you can see, Mika Salo is 5.5 seconds behind us, so that has given us a bit of hope and pray that we can get at least a top 10 finish here. As you can see, both Johnny Herbert, and I don't think that's Häkkinen actually, so I don't know who it is up the road with Johnny Herbert, but 2.9 seconds of the gap already, and it's 7 seconds, so we've gained nearly 2 seconds on both Herbert and 2 seconds ahead of Salo. So this is going to be a very intriguing last half lap of this race. So we're going to see how and it's actually, I don't know if that's a Prost or not, but we go very wide there, being very aggressive just to catch up, but we're on the back of both Herbert and another car, which I don't think we've raced with. It's Olivier Panis actually, as Jacques Villeneuve takes the victory in this episode. So it's not going to be a Ferrari dominance race, as we got past Herbert. So next up is Olivier Panis, and we're going to be very careful through the chicane. No really place to overtake there, but the traction will help us a lot on there, as we get a beautiful line with Olivier Panis. We're going to go round the outside of him, and we're up into 10th place as Häkkinen actually moves up to 9th, and he's pulled a massive gap, so he must have pulled a brilliant call on pitch strategy on there. But we're going to come home most likely 10th place, which will be pretty good considering we started at the back of the field, and it's going to make it even more difficult for us in the next race at Monaco. So we'll have to wait and see as we come into the final corner. Now we go, and 10th place will be fantastic for the team. No points though, but we'll take it. It's a decent finish from us on there, as our teammate finished in 18th, so we didn't finish last, so it's a big improvement from the last couple of rounds we had on there. As the race results are now on your screens on there, as Michael Schumacher finished 4th, so that's a big surprise there. But it will be Jacques Villeneuve taking the victory with Eddie Irvine in 2nd, 4 seconds actually off from Jacques Villeneuve, with Heinz-Al Frentzen in 3rd, with Schumacher in 4th, and Coulthard completes the top 5, with Jean Alesi, Hill, Berger and Häkkinen and ourselves completing the top 10, and confirming the 2 retirements of the race are being Fisichella and Ralf Schumacher, both in Jordan, which will not help them one little bit. But we're now going to be looking now at the Drivers' Championship for our F1 1997 career mode. So here are the standings then after 3 rounds of our 1997 career mode, and it's Michael Schumacher still leading the way after a disappointing race today. Still leads with 23 points, but the gap is now down to 7 points, with Heinz-Al Frentzen now in the Williams in 2nd. With Irvine in 3rd, now tied on points with Jacques Villeneuve on 14 points after his victory today, the Canadian. With David Coulthard now in 5th place with 5 points, and a tie for 6th place with Gerhard Berger and Giancarlo Fisichella, who didn't race today, who had to retire from the race unfortunately, with 2 points as well. Ourselves are in 8th place with a point, now joined by Jean Alesi, who picked up the last point paying position today at San Marino, with Mick Häkkinen in 10th place as the highest driver, with no points unfortunately for him. So again, the next round is at Monaco. It'll be live on Twitch. Make sure to see that, guys. But until next time, have a great day, and I shall see you guys very soon. Until then, have a good day, guys, and see you later.